Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher, and for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving into a movie. This was actually a patron request sent to me by Yemi, who has been such a huge supporter ever since she joined the family, and was actually the first subscriber to ever send me fan mail. If you saw my channel update video that I did back at the end of December, you've seen where I did my unboxing, and she sent me all these international flavors of Kit Kat from Japan, and it just made me so excited because I'm a fat kid and I love food, but also just the fact that someone would think to send me things, it just makes me happy. And then it started a whole new trend, and then I got that from another subscriber a couple weeks later. Just, you guys are amazing. But Yemi sent this to me a little bit ago, and she told me, take your time with it because I know you're busy, but I knew that I wanted to save it for sometime this month because I knew my BL anniversary was going to be happening this month. And it is a movie called, translated to We're Two Grooms, or We're Both Grooms. It has a Japanese name, which I cannot pronounce right now, but it's okay. We're not going to worry about that right now. But Yemi said, I'm glad you enjoyed the Kit Kats. I have a patron request. It's about a 50-minute long Japanese mini movie. Haven't seen many reactions on YouTube, so it'll probably have to go on Patreon. So the link to the full reaction will be down in the description for free, as always. But one-line summary is it's wedding day for Ryosuke and Mizuki, both unisex names. But Ryosuke has not told anyone that he's marrying a man. Gasp! Shenanigans, gay shenanigans. So I'm very excited to dive into this. I actually still have a couple of the Kit Kats left because I wanted to save them. Well, first I was like, I want to share them with special people. Then I'm like, nah, forget that. I'm not trying to share nothing. But then I'm like, I don't want to just like finish them all unceremoniously. So I'm like, okay, I'll save them for whenever I do get around to recording my reaction to this video. So that day is today. I have 4 coffee break still left. I have pistachio still left. Oh, you can't really see. Whatever. I have For Cafe, which I don't know how that differs from For Coffee, but it's a different title and a different packaging. And then I have one that is completely in Japanese, but some fun thing I discovered a couple weeks after I recorded that channel update video where I was unboxing, is that the Google Translate app on my phone can use my camera to real-time translate. And sometimes the names are a little bit hilarious. So right now this translates to whole wheat biscuits in, yep, whole wheat biscuits in. Okay, so I'm assuming there are whole wheat biscuits inside of the Kit Kat. So yes, I may be snacking and munching throughout, and that's fine. It's also an ASMR channel apparently. But we're gonna just dive in and see what this movie is all about. Again, the link to the full reaction will be down in the description over on Patreon for free, like all my other reactions. But yeah, strap on in and let's get to it. Okay, all in all, it was a very cute, sweet, simple, short and sweet kind of story. Since it was just 50 minutes, it wasn't like we were doing this entire series, or it was a full-length hour and a half, 2-hour kind of movie. We didn't have time to dive into a plethora of things, so they kept it very straightforward. They kept it very bare bones script. Here it is. We're on this wedding day. This groom, his family, everyone he invited doesn't know he's gay and marrying a man. This half does. Look at the shenanigans that are gonna happen. And we hit, the basic plot points that expected to go through. We're gonna have the family members who are gonna be totally against, who are gonna be caught blindsided and totally against it. We had someone on his side who was gonna be totally accepting and be like, you know what, it's okay. We had some sort of problem arise where potentially the wedding was going to be stopped. Daddy came around in the end and became the accepting thing that made the wedding go forward in the end. So it's like they hit all the basic plot points I expected it to hit, with a couple little variations that I wasn't expecting, which I thought were interesting. the one thing that I'm gonna die on this hill, and just people may agree with me, people may not agree with me, and that's fine. Why the hell was his ex at this wedding? And I know that when he was in there breaking up with him, he's like, "Well, you invited her to the wedding," and Ryosuke is like, "Well, I mean, I didn't invite her. My mom told her, and she invited herself." Which I'm like, "Hey, you can't just invite yourself to my wedding." But I get it because family friend, we've been besties since childhood. It makes sense that you would be there to see me get married. But why was the ex at the wedding? Why? What purpose? What purpose did this ex have at the wedding? And Mizuki never gave us an answer. Never gave us one answer. So this tells me that neither of them really discussed the invite list, the guest list. Because I feel like step one, and I've never planned a wedding, so I don't know firsthand, but I feel like one of the earlier steps in the wedding is planning your guest list. And especially if we're paying for this reception and you're catering the food, you're catering the reception, and you've got all these tables. Like, I'm imagining these tables. Well, no, I guess they were. I was gonna say, I'm imagining these tables weren't just like, general audience seating. Just pick your seat, sit wherever you want. Every wedding I've ever been to, seats were assigned. Like, okay, you're at this, well, not seats, but tables. Like, okay, you're this guest, you sit at this table with these guests, and blah, blah, blah. So, for me, one of the first things I would do in planning my wedding is saying, okay, who's my guest list? Who am I inviting? Who do you want to invite, babe? Who do you want to invite? Okay. And then, get the invites back. And then, because I'm assuming they sent out they had to do some form of invite. They couldn't just leave it an open-ended, hey, everybody just come, because you don't know how much food, how many lemons to bring. You don't know how many lemons to bring to feed these people. You don't know how many tables and chairs to set up. So I'm like, there had to have been some semblance of, hey, how many people are you inviting? Who are you thinking of inviting? Your parents, obviously. Your sister, yeah, sure. What friends? Oh, have I met this person? I look for, blah, blah, blah. But it seems as though there was no conversation of that. So we just had a bunch of people at this wedding that neither groom had ever seen and met before. So this ex is here for reasons. Now, is it the case that the ex was invited, or did the ex invite himself? I don't know. But either way, we did not show this ex out the door once we saw him. So why was this ex here? Why? What purpose? Because, again, if this were a longer movie or a longer series and we had time to dive into the relationship between Mizuki and his ex, then maybe we could have done some creative storytelling and, found out that, they're actually, yes, they've broken up, but they've reconciled, or they're actually great friends, or this, that, and the other. Like, what is the dynamic? The only thing that I saw as an audience member in relation to his ex is that his ex is not over him, and that his ex very much wants him for himself. So why would we bring that energy to our wedding? Why would we invite a man who we broke up with for reasons? We said, okay, he kept worrying that I was going to be cheating or whatever the conversation they had before they just magically decided to have a wedding, spur of the moment. But why? Why would we invite him? Whether or not we know that he still has feelings for us, on the off chance that he might still have feelings for us, why would we invite that trouble, that negative energy here? And even if he doesn't still have feelings for us, why are we inviting him to our wedding? Just why? Because he does not seem to. Y'all don't seem to be on good enough terms to be like reconciled and besties and whatnot. You're still wearing his earring, which again, we could have found a shell or something on that beach to signify our relationship. It doesn't have to be the same earring. I understand the sentiment behind it, but like, baby, we'll find something else. So yeah, why is the ex here? That's one question I will never understand. That I will never, and I'll probably watch this because it's very, very short and easy to watch. I'll probably watch a number of times, but like, I'll never understand it. Why is the ex here? Why? He was there for no other reason than to cause trouble, to cause a scene, to cause a melodramatic moment in the middle of the wedding. That's the only narrative reason. That's the only reason the ex was there. But in this universe, like if I weren't looking at it from a storytelling perspective, if I were just in this universe, one of these characters, why is this ex at my wedding? Because you best believe that ex is not gonna be at my motherfucking wedding. No siree, no siree, no ma'am. But yeah, that's just one thought I had throughout while watching. Another feeling or feelings I was having as we were making our way through the latter half of it, after the ex had already kidnapped Mizuki and told him, oh, why you should be with me because he's indecisive and he can't love you the way I love you. And I'm like, girl, bye, leave. So after that, when Mizuki went back to the dressing room and his dad came in and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and like they were having their little conversation, from like that moment forward through to like the end, I was just not liking Mizuki. And I could understand the general reasoning behind what he was doing. Basically, after he overheard the conversation between Ryosuke's dad and the friend from childhood, he basically was like, okay, he's trying to do a selfless thing. He knows obviously how important his family is to Ryosuke, and he doesn't want to cause a wedge or a sort of rift between them. He doesn't want to be the source of conflict between them. Also, his goal has not been to try and force Ryosuke out of the closet. So he's feeling kind of responsible for the day and the way things have gone down, which, everyone has their responsibility in the matter. It's not solely him, but I can understand where he's coming from. And he's like, you know what? Fine. I don't want him to have to live an unhappy life. So we'll save face and we'll finish out the wedding. And then, I'll let him go. And he can go live the happy life that will make his family happier, like whatever, something along that narrative, mental gymnastics thought process. So then in all of his interactions following with Ryosuke, he was being very just cold and just shutting everything down. And like, part of me feels like he was doing it to like, okay, I'm going to give you the tough love, so I'm making it easier for you to move on. If I'm being a jerk to you, then it'll be easier for you to move on, and you can, go live your life with your clean slate, blah, 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 blah. But I just feel like that's not the support system that I would want for myself if I were in Ryosuke's situation. Because like, again, I understand doing the selfless thing and like, okay, I'll let you clean slate, go start over, and I want you to be happy. Cool, great. But Ryosuke chose to be with you, even though he has not had the conversation with his family and friends yet, because again, everybody comes out in their own time. You can't rush people to come out of the closet in their own time. So even though Ryosuke has not had that conversation yet, at the end of the day, he still chose to be with you. He still chose to take this giant chance of potential embarrassment, which, the day pretty much has gone that way. But he decided to take this huge chance of having this wedding with you and inviting friends and family, knowing that he had not had the conversation and knowing that the conversation was going to be had that day. Like, there was no way, I don't care what fantasy world you're living in, there was absolutely no way that he was going to get through this wedding without his family and or friends saying, hey, how come you didn't tell me you were marrying a guy? Not that it's an issue, but there's just no way. So the conversation was going to be had at some point. So he knew that that clock was ticking down, counting down, and he still chose to go through with this wedding. He chose you. So what is not helpful for me, if I were in that situation, is to have someone just completely abandon me and just be like, bye. I'm so sick of your excuses. Goodbye. I'm leaving you. And I'm saying goodbye to everyone in front of you at this wedding. And I'm walking past you and I'm like leaving me on my wedding day. Basically dumping me on my wedding day. Twice. That's not helpful. That's not going to help me. That's not going to put me in a happy, healthy, emotional state. That's not going to help me get over the fact that, hey, I had love when I woke up this morning, and now I have family who is ostracizing me. I have friends who are looking at me differently, and I no longer have a boyfriend. That's not going to help. What he needs, and what I would have loved to have seen, I'd love to have seen more of the, okay, I know this is hard for you, but I love you and we'll stand together because love will conquer all, even though love doesn't conquer all the time. But still, like, I feel like that would have been a much more effective way to show their relationship and how strong their bond is than just having him run away. Because for me, it just felt like he was just like, okay, I'm peacing out. I felt abandoned for Ryosuke, basically. Even if Ryosuke was willing to go run after her, I'm very much the type where I'm like, look, you only got to tell me like once or twice, okay? I'm not going to keep running after you, baby. So it's probably the reason I'm not married. If these are hoops I got to jump through to get married to a man, marriage ain't for me. Because I don't have the time for it. I don't have the time for it. So there's only so many times throughout this movie that Mizuki would have acted a certain way or said a certain thing to me throughout that wedding day before I would have just let the bitch walk. I'd be like, bye, I ain't got time for this. We're not gonna do this. So yeah, I would have preferred seeing Mizuki being a little bit more. I would have loved to see it be more of a united front versus I'm just going to leave you in your time of need. And I'm going to leave you in your time of need, but it's all for the best because I know this is what in the end is going to make you happy, whatever. So in your time of need, I'm going to leave you versus being a supportive, united front and like, no, we will face your father together. We'll face, I love you. And there's nothing that our love can't overcome. I would have loved to see that narrative versus this, but it's fine. It's fine. What else? Love the fashion. I love Ryosuke's daddy, his suits. I absolutely love the pattern on the pants, the pattern on the tie, love the cut, everything. Like he looked good. I loved, again, I said a million times, Ryosuke's tux and Mizuki's tux. I like the cross color coordinations. I loved the MCs or the wedding planners suit jacket and vest. Absolutely loved. Soundtracking was really, really good. What else? Acting was really, really good. Again, never understand why the X was there, but that's neither here nor there at this point. There were some really good comedic moments. Some like it was like I said, it was everything that I pretty much expected it to be. It hit all of the major beats that I expected it to hit. Some in slightly different ways, but overall, I loved the use of flashbacks. I love how we started in a flashback 3 years ago. This is how they met. And then, okay, we're just jumping straight to the wedding because it's like we don't have time to go through their entire love story. But then, as we got later in the story, we kind of flash back a couple other times to fill in some of those pieces along the way. So them at the lemon farm, and again setting up that moment they had there at the end with biting into the lemon. Cute little callback. Them by the bridge and talking about his ex and how like, oh no, this earring, I don't wear it because of my ex, it's how we met, and this, that, and the other, discussing their relationship, and then them just deciding, okay, well, let's get married. And like, oh, okay, feel like we should talk about that a little bit more, but okay, sure, let's get married. Good use. I think they used the short amount of time that they had very effectively. And I think that they could have done a lot more if they had more time to use. But for the time that they had to use, I think they used it effectively. They did very well. Like I said, they kept it very straightforward, bare bones. We didn't introduce like 700 storylines that went absolutely nowhere. We just kept it. This is what the story we're telling. These are the narrative points that we're gonna hit, and here we go. So yeah, all in all, it was really, really cute. Everything worked out in the end, as we expected it to. Yeah, cute, sweet little movie. Yeah, I only got through 2 of my Kit Kats, so I guess I have 2 more Kit Kats to get through my next movie, because I'm about to dive into the Cherry Magic movie. I'm just stuck in Japan today. But yeah, thank you, Yummy, for the suggestion. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah. And before you guys go, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone supporting me over on Patreon. This channel would not be what it is today without your continued support, and I can't begin to thank you guys enough for all you've done for me. If you'd like to join us over on Patreon, the link is down in the description. I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya.